Welcome to the final module of the Aligned Coaching Academy. So guys, this one is an exciting one. I can't wait to dive into module 8 with you guys today. But before we do dive into this content, as usual, making sure that you're sitting in a quiet place without any distractions, have a notepad and pen ready so that you can also be taking down notes, okay? Make that hot ideas list and make that action items list to ensure that you get the most out of this module. So congratulations, first of all, for making it to this point in the academy. You guys have done an incredible job to smash through the past 4 steps that we've covered. And now we're wrapping things up with the very, very final module in step 5, which is working in alignment. Now, this module is broken up into 7 different parts. The first being the introduction to alignment, what this actually means, so you guys have like a good understanding of what it actually means to be working in alignment. And then we have a 6-part series that follows, which is how we break down how you can actually be working in alignment, within your businesses. So today what we're diving into is the very, very, very first piece of this module being the introduction to alignment. So in this session, what we're going to look at is 2 different things. First and foremost, what is alignment? And then secondly, we're going to look at how to step into alignment. So what is alignment? Well, alignment is defined as, the arrangement in a straight line or in correct relative positions, right? This is the general definition of what alignment means. So definition of in alignment, what this means is brought into line or proper arrangement, aligned the parts were not in alignment. So brought into line or into proper arrangement. And basically what we're going to be looking at this is in the sense of you and your businesses. So when we're referring to being in alignment across this module, what we're referring to is being in alignment with our true self, our highest selves. Now, if you don't know what your true self is versus, the self, what we have is the self is made up of a combination of your physical appearance, your intelligence, your memories, habits, all of these things that we as humans like to look at. And then the true self, on the other hand, well, this is what people will call their essence. It's what makes you, you at your core, when we put all of those other surface level elements aside. So the self that we are now, it's not necessarily our true self. It may be driven by the thoughts or the beliefs that we are holding. And these are essentially holding us back from fully embodying our true potential. So this is why we must, really be doing conscious work in order to make sure that we are stepping into alignment. So being in alignment with our true self or our highest self is when all aspects of yourself are operating to serve your highest good, then that is when you're in alignment. And this is what we're going to explore deeper today. So what is alignment? Well, alignment, the 3 aspects of yourself, right? Your mind, body, and your soul. What we want to do is we want to achieve alignment, achieve balance between these 3 so that we can fully embody that word, that feeling of alignment. So when we move through new levels of expansion, what happens is we're faced with new fears, we're faced with new challenges. And what these may do is they may cause us to fall out of alignment. How many times have you gone through a challenge and all of a sudden your mindset has shifted into a negative place, and then this has pushed you out of alignment in any other area as well? I know it's happened to me so many times myself. So when we're looking at these 3 aspects, the mind is really the logical self. This is your thoughts. The body is your physical self, which is your energy, and the soul is your spiritual self, so your emotions. And what we want to do is, in order to be in alignment, we want to have all 3 of these things physically aligned, okay? So for the visual learners, this is what we mean by alignment. And when we're out of alignment, well, this is what that looks like. Each of these elements aren't in balance. They aren't in alignment with each other. So why does it matter if, we're not in alignment? And particularly for your businesses as well. See, when we're out of alignment, we're not embodying our full potential. And ultimately, what this is going to do is this will inhibit your ability to fully embrace your purpose in this life. Therefore, in order to live our life to our fullest potential, we must work towards achieving this balance between the mind, the body, and the soul. So achieving this balance is more of a daily practice rather than an end result, as it's really impossible to always be in total alignment. Now, if you are, then you're not really growing because you're settling, right? In order to realign with our next level self, we must fall out of alignment in some ways so that we can be brought back into that line. So how do we step into alignment then? Well, we know what alignment is now, and we know that it's about creating that balance between the mind, the body, and the soul. But how do we actually achieve this balance? That's the next question. To create balance, we must individually work through each of the pillars in order to uncover any blocks that may be holding us back. To create balance, we must, identify where the block is first so we can focus in on that particular point in order to realign it. So blocks may appear in a range of forms, and here are a few examples, and these, of course, are not limited to these. When we're looking at the mind, different blocks may include limiting beliefs, fears, or inner criticism. For the body, it might mean a lack of energy, anxiousness, or poor physical health. For the soul, it might mean a lack of fulfillment, lack of connection to self, or a lack of self-awareness. Essentially, these blocks are your signs that you're being pushed out of alignment in some way. So when they appear, and they will appear different for everyone, you will be required to develop your self-awareness first and foremost in order to actually identify when these blocks exist. So let's begin to learn how we can create the balance between our mind, our body, and our soul so you can really start stepping into alignment. So we're going to look at your mind, then we're going to look at your body, and then we're going to look at your soul in that order. So aligning your mind. Well, our mind is it's our logical self, right? This is referring to even the internal dialogue that we have going on inside our minds. So when our mind is out of alignment, this can often cause the other aspects of ourself, our body and our soul, to also fall out of alignment as well. Okay, our mind can be our greatest weapon, but it can also be our worst enemy. So the main forms of blocks that our mind experiences when out of alignment includes limiting beliefs, fears, inner criticism, right? These things may bring us discomfort, but what's important in this process of stepping into alignment is that we express gratitude for this discomfort that is present in our lives, because that ultimately shows us what still needs to be worked on. So when it comes to working through these mindset blocks, we have to go through a multiple step process in order to restore balance in these areas. Now, this process, step one, really starts out with identifying what fears, traumas, or limiting beliefs you are carrying. So what is it? Where has it come from? And why is it present? Then step two is about getting clear on how our thoughts are impacting us. So how does it make you feel? What action or inaction is it causing? And how is it limiting you? Step three is then implementing action steps to overcome our mindset blocks. So what action do you need to take in order to overcome this block? What do you need to do that maybe you have been avoiding doing? Step four is creating that clarity around our vision for ourselves and our goals. So where do you want to be? How do you want to feel? What does the next level you actually look like? And how do they think and act? And then finally, improve your overall self-awareness of thoughts and emotions. So step five is how can you continue to take action aligned with this next level self? How can you become more self-aware around your thoughts and your emotions? So some daily practices that are really going to help you in aligning your mind. This includes journaling, affirmations, meditation, movement, podcasts, mindfulness practices, and grounding exercises. So you really need to start paying attention to what your mind is bringing forward in order to really start to shift it into alignment. So are there specific fears or beliefs that are heavy on your mind right now? And what work really needs to be done in order to overcome this? Also, what experiences from your past are coming forward and asking to be healed now? Finally, how can you self-educate or get support in working through these things? And that completes aligning your mind. So next we're looking at aligning your body. So our body is our physical self. This refers to our energy and the internal and external functions, of your physical body and your internal organs. This is our physical being, essentially. So when our body is out of alignment, the easiest way to gain awareness of this is by noticing how your energy actually changes. If you're constantly feeling low energy, physically or mentally, well, then this may be a sign of some blocks that exist within your body. So lack of energy, poor physical health, anxiousness, these are some key signs of blocks, but again, they are not limited to these things. So it comes down to gaining that awareness of yourself to be able to identify what your triggers and your signs are. So take a moment to think about what other signs may present themselves to you. When your body is out of alignment, how does it try to alert you? In order to regain balance within our body, what we want to do is follow this 3-step process. Step 1 is gaining awareness, right? Step 2 is then identifying the cause. And step 3 is action planning to create change. So let's take a look at step 1, gaining awareness of yourself and your energy. Well, how do you feel? Describe it. Where do you feel this? How is this impacting you? Self-awareness comes down to just tuning into you and literally gaining that awareness of yourself. So asking yourself these sorts of questions and reflecting on them. Step 2 is about identifying the causes. So what is causing you to feel this way? Are there any thoughts, any fears or stresses impacting your energy? And why are these things present? And then finally, step 3 is creating the action plan in order to achieve change. So how do you want to feel? You need to determine this first and foremost so that you know what changes need to be made with your physical self in order to create this shift. And what changes need to be made within your internal and external environments also to create these shifts. And finally, what specific actions have you been avoiding that you must start doing? So by following this 3-step process over time, you'll begin to notice your physical shift that starts to happen within your body. And some daily practices to really help you in realigning your body include movement, rest and sleep, journaling, mindfulness, meditation, and of course, a healthy diet. And again, these are not limited to these things, but you need to start paying attention to what your body is asking for and start acting in alignment with that. So does your body feel drained and exhausted? Well, if it does, how can you allow it to rest? And does your body feel weak and run down? Well, how can you give it more energy? This is such an important aspect of business, guys, to really be able to tune into your body in this way and meet it where it needs to be met. So now this brings us to the final part in aligning yourself, okay? Aligning your soul. So our soul is our spiritual self. And what this refers to is emotions, our true self, and our connection to our purpose. Now, our soul may become unbalanced when we lack self-awareness and clarity around our true purpose. And if we lack meaning, vision, or direction within ourselves and lives, then our soul may feel disconnected or out of alignment there. So blocks connected to your soul's alignment may appear in the form of disconnect from self, lack of vision or purpose, lack of fulfillment, emotional instability, confusion, or a lack of clarity. Now, in order to regain alignment and connection with our soul, we want to follow a 4-step cycle. And I say cycle because this is an ongoing process, much like all of the other things that we've looked into in this module so far. So first we start with reflection, then we move to awareness, then we move to healing, and then we move to action. And then the cycle begins again. So step 1, reflection. Well, this is asking challenging questions that allow you to dive deep into self-reflection and exploration. And by doing so, you are being intentional about discovering who you are and what you believe in, and why you live and act as you do as well. So this is a reflective process for self-understanding. Now, step 2, when it comes to awareness, gaining that awareness of self and identifying where is this discomfort, pain, fear, or trauma existing. Starting to question why it exists and how it is limiting you from embodying your true self. I'm sure you can see a bit of a theme here across each of the sections, right? Awareness is such a huge element. And then we move into the healing portion. So what work needs to be done in order to heal these areas that you have gained awareness of? And what needs to be faced in order to be overcome? So where and how do you need to show yourself kindness, forgiveness, love, etc.? And finally, guys, step 4 of aligning your soul is the action portion. So what steps are you going to commit to taking? Who can support you or keep you accountable? What do you need to do for yourself in order to realign your soul? So daily practices for doing so may include journaling, meditation, connecting with nature, self-care, grounding, professional support, movement, creative expression, alone time, spiritual practices, or vision planning. And you really need to start paying attention to what your soul is asking for and start acting in alignment with that. This should be a daily practice, guys. So do you need to take time to discover or reconnect with yourself daily? In what ways do you need to turn towards nature or turn towards nurturing your inner child, right? And do you need to connect with your spirituality more? And if so, in what ways do you need to do so? And in saying that, guys, that covers our introduction to alignment. So this introduction to alignment has highlighted the necessary balance between the mind, the body, and the soul. Now, the 6 steps we are going to move into next, these are going to aid you in achieving this total alignment of the 3 aspects through your business, okay? And essentially what these are going to do is help you in achieving more results at the same time within your business as well. So before we leave off from today's module, the final action items you have to take off with are begin to reflect on how aligned you are with your mind, body, and soul right now. Identify which area is out of balance, if any are, and really begin to work through the reflection for that area. And then finally, picking one daily practice from each category, either the mind, the body, and the soul, and implement them into your day-to-day. Okay, we really want to be working to achieve the balance across the board by starting out and selecting one daily practice from each category is a really great way to start making progress in these areas. And finally, guys, before you move on to part 1 of module 8, what I want you to do is make sure you go into the Facebook community and you share what your biggest takeaway was from this module and what the action steps are that you're going to take now as you continue moving forward. And with that said, guys, congratulations on completing the introduction to Module 8. You guys are absolutely powering through this academy, and I can't wait to see you in part 1 of this incredible module that we're diving into.